Top 5 things women do that really annoy men. Coming up on Valentine's Day, I thought it might be a little instructive to do this video and its sequel, Top 5 Things Men Do That Really Annoy Women. I will admit, most of this comes from what I learned while my wife was living, and I have learned a little bit about why women do these things, and I do plan on doing the opposite next week. So what sort of habits do women regularly engage in that annoys the opposite gender? What acts do they do that are really confusing in the long run? What sort of messages are being sent that men, most of the time, just don't get? Men, I would suggest going into protective mode, as some of these might be a little controversial. Women, please don't send hate, sit back, relax, and let's get started. When I say this, I don't mean shopping for groceries, although that can count if there's not a list. I mean going into clothing departments, trying on several different things, maybe buying things that, in the long run, might never get used. For men, shopping is an easy thing. If something fits, we'll take it. If we need a new coat, we simply go and get one. But it's never the same for women. I'm sure the cliche is the first that comes to mind in mentioning this: a lot of shoes. It's not every woman that does this, but I do think I know the reason why women would do these things, and I'd ask with this and with the other 4, all the women to confirm if my guess is right, or if you have anything else you might want to add on in the comments below. It could be that women do this for the same reason guys like to watch sports. Namely, that it's something unique, something that has them feeling good about themselves. This kind of thing might go through the rest of this video, but it's something I think needs to be paid attention to. For this, I must explain things a little further. Yes, having a clean home is a good thing. It cuts down on disease and makes things look better. But here's the thing. Many times women get a little manic with this. They go from merely making things clean to going after every bacteria, virus, or spore. I'm guessing that many men are now nodding with this, but here's what I think might be going on. With men, there are several spots that might be their spot. This is no more true than what is simply called the man cave, a place where men can go and feel like men. If they have this cave, it's their spot, their room, and it can be decorated and look however the man wants. Women are far deeper when it comes to the way a place looks. For them, it would seem that the rest of the home would have to be decorated how they would want it, and they would change their minds about things in order to really feel as if it's a reflection of their own self-esteem. Yes, it may not make much sense to men. After all, men are usually good at compartmentalizing things and make things make sense for them. Just one example will do: laundry. For men, it's not such a big deal if we do something seemingly disgusting as, for example, using a dirty shirt as a Kleenex. After all, it's going to be washed anyway, and that would take care of that. But for women, this is something that cannot be tolerated. Perhaps some female viewer would fill us in on this one a bit more in the comments. I'm sure there are many who wonder why I added this in. It would actually be understood if your chromosomes have 2 X of the genes. For men, it's something else. And I think I have a pretty good grasp on this one. I'm sure most men would get it when I ask this question. Do you plan on getting something for your sweetie on the 14th of this month? Will there be an expectation that it would somehow be better than the previous year? What about her birthday, anniversary, Christmas? Is it somehow vital that the gifts you get for her be better and better? So why do women in our lives cling on to these dates? Why do they seem to expect gifts from us even if we don't remember to get one, and earn their wrath for honestly forgetting? First, a bit from the male side. It's not something we subconsciously forget or even consider. For us, the date of these things happens to still be a ways off, even down to the last few minutes before the day of. We don't honestly try to do this. It's just that, as mentioned before, we do compartmentalize these things, and sometimes we don't even try to remember. But women, I know where this comes from, and here's the real catch. You see, when my wife was still alive, I would often sneak off in a store were shopping at, grab something off the shelf that would be a little corny or a little sentimental, go and buy it and place it somewhere for her to discover. It is because I like to let her know that I think about her often. That's not a tense confusion there. It was a desire to make it so that she knew she was loved, that she mattered. It wasn't just on those days that should have been marked either. I'm going to do a viewpoint on this subject a little later, but that is, I feel, something that needs to be acknowledged. I'm pretty sure right now some guys are nodding again because all of us guys have to deal with these from time to time. Let me explain. There have been many times when, without notice, the women in our lives seemingly suddenly get really emotional, mainly anger, that we have no idea where it comes from. I want to clarify, though, that I don't mean men are incapable of understanding. It's just that by our nature, we're problem solvers. I'm not saying women can't be problem solvers. I'm just saying we might not really understand where this comes from. When we see a problem, we try and find out how to fix it. It bugs us when we are unable to get it working, so it bugs us when suddenly the women in our lives are furious and we have no idea why. It may make us look like jerks, but when these things happen, if we don't have a reason why you might be mad, we get mad right back. But then there are other things. Now, I can't say I have any experience in these aspects myself, but I know that there are many men who would not feel comfortable with public displays of affection. It's not because we aren't affectionate, it's just something that we may feel isn't right. Believe me, there are a lot of good reasons to go through with those PDAs instead of not feeling right to do it. If you and your girlfriend/fiance/wife do these things, she will feel elated by it and she will appreciate it even more. So what can be the biggest irritation a woman can do that men simply cannot understand? What sort of choices do women make that really don't make any sense to us? What kind of act really doesn't seem even rational? I'm sure you know the cliche question to launch this off. Do these jeans make my butt look big? It seems that no matter what, there's no right answer to this question. Similar loaded questions, including whether we believe a particular actress or other female celebrity is pretty. What can we say to that? Or what can we do when we look at another woman, even if it's just a brief glimpse? For what it's worth, this is the answer to all these things. You see, we aren't wired the same way as women. It's not that we don't have emotions, but it's true that we often look at one thing compared to another in order to determine if we have the right thing. But women don't see that. We men prefer to have an understanding of which aspect is better, the one that we have or the one that we don't. Women don't do that kind of thing. Instead, women want to feel like they are more important and matter more to their men than anything else. The real reason women seem to prefer to move in, quote, packs, close quote, is because they want to feel like they're part of a group. They want to belong. So when they're in a romantic or long-term relationship, they want to feel like they are more important to us than any other woman out there. They want to feel that they are more important than anyone else. It may explain the questions elsewhere in this list, or I may be way off, but here's how I reached this conclusion. I can admit my wife wasn't exactly beautiful in the worldly way, but it never mattered to me. To me, she was gorgeous. To me, she was beyond beautiful. To me, she was a babe, which became my favorite pet name for her. I won't go into details, but the fact that she heard that I thought she was a babe, the fact that I paid attention to her and listened to what she said, and the fact that I was there for her helped her to begin to see herself as a good person, as a real babe. By the time of her passing, she had been able to fit into jeans that she hadn't fit into for many years, and this was before the illness that eventually took her from this life. It was because she felt she mattered to me that she began to believe she mattered, and that she had someone that loved her despite what the world would say. So, men, the answer to all of this isn't some solid answer. Some of it may not even be understood, but the final result of all of these things is that they want to know we think very highly of them. The answer to that first loaded question isn't a quantitative answer, it's an emotional one. The answer to all of these things won't make any rational sense, because they basically want to know that no matter what, they're the most important women in our lives. They see us look at another woman and get a little jealous and worried that we may see them as prettier, even if we don't remember a thing about what the other woman looks like. But if we remind them that we aren't with the other woman, or that the women we check out aren't that important to us, it becomes something we can find a real answer to. I will admit, I may be way off, so I ask again that any female viewers of this video either tell me where I'm wrong or tell me what I got right. My gender isn't female by any means, so I wouldn't appreciate any other insights into this subject. If I got any of this right, or if I gave you something to really think about, please give the video a like, that it really does help. Also, subscribe with the circle in the hat so you can get notification when a new video comes up. Next week, we get to see what men do that annoys women, and maybe a little closer to an explanation on this one. And don't forget about the viewpoints on Saturday. We'll see you next time. So how must I really get right?